How many remember Eminem's clothing brand, Shady Limited? The early 2000s was the golden era of rap, and the biggest artists in the game were global names at that point in time. And many of them decided to try their hand at fashion. Jay-Z had Rocawear, 50 Cent had G-Unit clothing, and Eminem, he had Shady Limited. In the early 2000s, Eminem wasn't just dominating the rap game, he was everywhere. Platinum albums, sold out arenas, movies, and a cultural influence that stretched far beyond just music. 50 Cent had been pulling in millions with his G-Unit brand, and his boss, Eminem, decided that he wanted to dip his toe into the waters as well. But unlike some of the larger brands of the era, Shady didn't stick around too long. Ever wonder why? How is it that a clothing line endorsed by one of the most popular rappers of his era failed to properly launch and come crashing back down to earth like one of Elon's busted rockets? Well, let's find out. I'm Nate the Great from TakeFlight214.com, and this is the rise and fall of Shady Limited. From Slim Shady to Slim Sales. But before we get started, as always, please take a second to stop and smash that like button for me. Not only is it free for you, it really does help the YouTube algorithms notice us and promote us more. Another way to help out is after the video is done, don't forget to stop by the website and check out our inventory. We have hundreds of items in stock, something that any fan of the channel will love. But with all that being said, let's dive into this story. The saga of Shady Limited began in 2003. His album, The Eminem Show, went diamond, and his Shady Records roster, including 50 Cent, Obi Trice, and D12, was dominating the charts. 50 Cent was pulling in millions with his G-Unit brand. We actually did a whole in-depth video chronicling his success, but this enticed Eminem to launch his own thing, representing his own personal style. At the time, it seemed like a great idea. Eminem was huge popularity-wise. He brought over an entirely new demographic to the genre. I mean, there were people who never listened to rap before, but they loved Eminem. And surely, some of them wanted to dress like him, right? Eminem teamed up with his longtime manager, Paul Rosenberg, and partnered with the same licensing company behind G-Unit clothing, Mark Echo Enterprises, to create a clothing line that reflected his image. Rebellious, street smart, and unapologetically raw. Shady Limited wasn't just about subtlety. In fact, it wasn't at all about subtlety. It was loud, aggressive, and in your face, much like Eminem's music. The designs leaned heavily on bold graphics, oversized fits, and heavy branding. Think big shady lettering across the chest, intricate embroidered logos, and street-inspired details. Marketing was pretty straightforward. Eminem wore Shady Limited on stage, in music videos, and at whatever public appearances he did. What more do you need? He was one of the biggest names in rap at that time. During those days, rap branded clothing seemed like a status symbol. Thanks to Eminem's notoriety, Shady Limited hit the shelves at major retailers like Macy's, JCPenney's, and specialty urban fashion stores as soon as it launched. There was no grinding, no working through the trenches. Shady was basically strapped to a rocket ship as soon as it came out. By the mid-2000s, the brand was everywhere. Eminem was at the top of his game, and Encore had just dropped, and G-Unit was also killing it in the market, creating a crossover effect from fans for both brands. The line appealed to young men who identified with Eminem's underdog, angsty, rebellious nature, and its authenticity. It wasn't about luxury, it was about attitude. At its peak, Shady Limited was moving units nationwide, with some pieces becoming sought-after collector's items. The brand even gained a cult following in Europe, where American rap fashion was seen as edgy and exotic. Shady had the type of visibility that most brands would kill for. Thanks to the connections with Mark Echo, they got premium placement in Complex, and thanks to the musical success of Eminem, They got consistent ads in other rap magazines like Double XL and Vibe. Shady had the best setup possible. But fashion moves fast, and hip hop fashion moves even faster. By 2006, 2007, the streetwear landscape was shifting. The oversized, baggy look that Shady Limited thrived on was falling out of style. Slimmer silhouettes, skate-inspired brands like LRG and Huff, and high-end streetwear like Bape and Billionaire Boys Club were taking over. At the same time, Eminem's personal struggles, his addiction, stints in rehab, and a break from music overall meant that there was less public visibility for the brand. Now, without its constant presence in pop culture, Shady Limited lost its main marketing engine to boot. Another problem was market oversaturation. By the mid-2000s, nearly every rapper had a clothing line, and most of them looked and felt the same, which could also be said about Shady. And without innovation or a fresh identity, they started to blend in with the crowd. And by the late 2000s, Shady Limited was quietly disappearing from shelves. Retailers stopped restocking, the brand's marketing dried up, and the official website eventually went black. Unlike Rocawear, which sold for millions, or G-Unit, which had a much longer run, Shady simply fizzled out. But for some fans, that made it even more of a time capsule, frozen in the baggy jean, fitted cap mixtape era of hip-hop. Today, Shady Limited lives on as a nostalgic relic for fans of early 2000s hip-hop. Vintage hoodies and tees can fetch high prices on resale platforms, especially the rare designs from the brand's peak years. It represents a unique era when music and fashion were inseparable, when wearing your favorite rapper's clothing brand was just as important as knowing all of their lyrics. For Eminem, it was less about building a fashion empire and more about capturing a moment in time. And for fans, owning a piece of Shady Limited is like holding a piece of hip-hop history. A reminder of the days when Shady Aftermath ruled the charts and Eminem's influence stretched from the radio and into your closet. While the brand eventually faded away, for the fans who wore it proudly, Shady Limited will always be more than just clothes. It was a symbol of the movement. But what do you think? Were you a fan of Shady clothing back in the day? Would you still wear some of the vintage pieces now? Hit us up in the comment section and let us know. And if you made it all the way through to the end of this video and you enjoy content like this, then we hope you hit that like button for us. Liking, sharing, and commenting on these is the only way to get the YouTube algorithms to notice us so that we can continue to grow. Also, if you want to be updated whenever we drop a new episode, then hit the subscribe button and then the notification bell. That way you can be dinged when each new video is released. With all that being said, I'm Nate the Great from TakeFlight214.com signing out. Until next time, peace.